Hi, hello, welcome to Kate and Kajira Gaming. Welcome if you are new. You can call me KK, and we are doing a double episode today, and a really late episode at that. So today we're going to be doing this little one's quest line to build her a room in my house on top of using it as this week's Dreamsnaps entry. Dreamsnaps actually close in just a few hours, so I'm getting in literally by the skin of my teeth. So let's go ahead and look at this week's challenge. It is the Something Wicked challenge. It is a decor challenge, and it says to channel your favorite villains and transform the valley into your very own domain. And of course, I am dedicating it to the Forgotten. So our mandatory is for simple and for strong, and our suggested is bold and familiar. So for those of you that are new to Dreamsnaps, you always just want to make sure that you have at least the mandatory suggestions in your photo. The more of each of those tags, the better. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, no spooky domain is not fit for spookiness without some dark wood features and this royal purple. So I always start all of my builds, even if it is not something I'm recording, with literally throwing everything that I think I could possibly use into where I'm putting it. So all I did was I went into my filters and went filter by filter until I grabbed everything that I thought would look good in this room and just kind of threw it down. I took out some things. I was like, yeah, hey, I found something better. I'm not going to use it. And then after I get everything in the room, this is where I start actually trying to piece together the room that I want to build. So the Forgotten's room, I'm actually kind of making it almost like a little studio. So I'm going to have it broken up into her bedroom, the kitchen, and then of course some area to do her dark bidding. I was playing around with the wallpapers because I didn't like how well the lattice was making the room so dark, and I really wanted to use this Haunted Mansion wallpaper, but I ended up choosing the Thorn wallpaper that just didn't have the lattice, and this is where I actually start divvying up the roomscape to figure out exactly how I want this room to look. I really love this Thorn Oak bed, I think it's called. I think it's a Frozen item. I absolutely love it. It gives a nod to just this feral child living in the woods. And I'm so glad I picked up all of the black kitchen furniture every time it popped into Scrooge's shop because it just fit the space so nicely. And I will say, with dark spaces like this, especially for Dreamsnaps, you want to make sure you do have a bunch of lighting, because when you go to take your Dreamsnaps photo, it does look really, really dark, and you are less likely to get the appropriate amount of votes and or point to score high to get those 4,000 moonstones. I see everybody aim for the 4,000 moonstones, but y'all, I am shooting for the grand prize, which I think is like 12 grand. Am I gonna get it? Probably not. We'll find out tomorrow. So here I am just finagling the kitchen and figuring out exactly how I want this to go. I am playing around with the rest of the room as I go, but I'm really trying to focus on room by room before I move on to the next area. It doesn't always work. ADHD and all that, it doesn't work. I wish we had taller potted plants to add into our valley, because yes, while they do offer us a wide range of greenery, I do think taller plants, maybe more like ficuses, or even snake plants or something, a taller version of a snake plant would look really good in our build. Now, I did do a couple of cuts to where I am almost already done the living area, and I feel like the floor needs pops of color to not be so muddled, but I didn't want bright pops of like purples or reds, so I tried to do these more muted leaf rugs. So I picked the orange one here, and you'll see very later on in the video I also go with yellow, or maybe this was yellow and the other one was orange, but either way I picked the leaf rugs to tie into the more natural dark muted tones, but also kind of draw your eye around the room with the color as well. Now you can see as I add all the dark wood furniture, it does look really dark, and it does make this 10 by 10 room a lot smaller. but I am trying, and you'll see eventually when I add a bunch of candles where it does brighten up the room quite a bit, and I really loved the end result, and I hope you guys do too. I really think these lion faces that we get from the Lion King quest came out really, really well. I think they just fit the motif of the Forgotten just beautifully. Now, I don't show it here. I actually ended up cutting it out, but y'all, all my stuff ended up disappearing because I didn't save within 5 minutes. And I decided I needed an outfit change just because I don't think my Rapunzel dress fits the theme very well. So here we go. We're going into my new outfit. And then I realized I could not get the Forgotten to follow me anymore because I had already completed the quest. So I decided to choose Ursula because her purple dress just plays off the purple in the room. And yeah, so as you guys see here, like, I am showing you my process of how I do my dream snaps, and there's a bunch of positioning and then in and out of the furniture mode to change things around. And I did the trick of cornering her by putting a bunch of items out of frame but keeping her blocked into an area. Now when I take my pictures, I make sure that I have the absolute highest settings, so it's 2.0 and ultra high or very high on everything else that can be changed, and that gives me the crisp, clean photos that I end up taking. And this is just me trying to create some depth of field with using candles and this table that's just slightly lower than my couch. It doesn't end up working. I take it out. There are so many times I do go back and forth just for this photo, but when I'm leaving these rooms set up, things like this are left in the room. Now, y'all, I am having such a hard time with trying to get this to where I like it because of the way the lighting plays off of these candles. So I am just trying to figure everything out. And there is that rug. I thought I wanted that one. It looked wrong, but this is the yellow rug I went with. And I loved what I did with Scar's little, like, cooking vessel. It just kind of looks like I'm doing some sort of magic behind the counter. Y'all, I'm in my villain era in this build, and I am loving it. And then I decided that Vanessa needed these partitions that have the plants on them. She's a sea witch. She does a bunch of potions, so she needed plants everywhere. Again, don't have a bunch of plants that look well. I wish we had more wall plants. That would look really cool as well. And maybe they'll bring it later on. But here I am, just, again, rearranging everything. I am constantly rearranging and moving things to get those dream snaps numbers, and honestly just to make the room fit the style that I liked. So this is my first submission just because I couldn't get her to move. And then I end up changing it again. I end up coming out from behind this counter. I kid you not, I sat in this spot for about 10 minutes waiting for her to move, and she did not move. I do not have her on follow me, and I do not have her blocked anywhere except going out the door. And that's all she did was stand there. So now I'm just going to push her to where I want her to go and see what happens. Forgot to turn on the spookiness of this organ because I just thought it was the perfect nod to have the souls peeking out, because that is what Ursula / Vanessa is known for. So yeah, I just sat here and waited for her to do something, and she didn't. She really didn't. So I really just tried to make sure I got a couple of those skulls floating in, and that was my submission. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this video. Be sure to follow me on all social medias down below. That's Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. If you guys like these kind of videos, hit the thumbs up button, and I will see y'all in our next video. Bye!